What's up, everybody? My name is Aaron Shirley. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am going to be a rising sophomore in Quincy House, Q-U-I-N-C-Y, Quincy till the day I die. And I'm here to talk to you guys today about being a first-generation low-income student at Harvard University and an athlete. So a little bit about me. I am from Chesapeake, Virginia, so like a small little town in the southeastern part of Virginia. I ran track all throughout high school. I was a hurdler, a 300 hurdler, sprint hurdler, and I did 400 hurdles at nationals. I'm actually wearing my All-American shirt, but we in Virginia, if you guys are from Virginia, you know we don't have 400 hurdles. But I was recruited to be a 400 hurdler at Harvard. The process was great. I had a bunch of different offers, but I chose Harvard because, I mean, it's Harvard University. I know that I can only run for so long, and so that was what really went into my decision. And coming to Harvard, I absolutely loved the people here. My coaching staff was phenomenal. My team was great. All the people who aren't athletes were super welcoming, super loving, super supportive. And being FGLI at Harvard has its ups and its downs. I think that FYRE really helped me navigate my space as a FGLI student. I was exposed to all my different resources across the river and on the academic side. So to my athletes out there and to my non-athletes who will be on campus, you'll know there's the academic side and there's the athletic side, and it's across the river because you have to cross the Charles River to get those separate parts of campus. But as a student, I was supported in both areas on either side of the river. As an athlete, I think I am surrounded by other students who are first generation low income, but I also have students who are not. So not everybody at Harvard is on financial aid. Not every athlete at Harvard is on financial aid. And so there's a bunch of different kinds of athletes. But hopefully your coaching staff will take that into consideration. The track team does. And they're super, super supportive when it comes to things like getting a job on campus, when it comes to, interviews and internships and research opportunities. So being super vocal about that, I think that was the biggest takeaway. So biggest tips for students who are first generation low income students and they're going into athletics on campus and they know they'll probably have to get a job or something like that to sustain them on campus. My biggest piece of advice is to be super, super, super transparent, super open, and super communicative with your coaching staff, with your teachers, with all that kind of stuff. So I had a job on campus. I was a research assistant at the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study, and that took up quite a bit of time. So I remember that to get even an interview, you have to take time out. So I was practicing Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, and then I also had practices on Saturdays, which was usually from 10 to noon. So getting interviews like that, they usually fall during the week. And so during practice time, right after class, because that's the only time that you're free. And no one's gonna give you an interview anyway during class. So it's always gonna fall during practice time. So I was proactive. I knew that I had the interview coming up, so I made sure to communicate with my coaches. That's probably a really big thing with that all sports probably across campus will stress is just being proactive with everything that you do and being really, really organized. So my coach had a 24-hour rule that if you were going to miss practice or you need to push back practice or we need to reschedule practice, you need to let him know 24 hours in advance. So I let him know 24 hours in advance that, hey, I'm gonna be interviewing at this time. Can I miss practice? And so he gave me the green light because of course he's like,
yeah, totally, go make your coin, by all means.
So I did that. And then with my job, I was lucky to have a job where I didn't have to be physically present. And that's what I encourage you guys to get jobs that, one, you don't have to be physically present. So I could do my research at home, on my own time. I was reporting my own hours at Radcliffe, and we only had weekly meetings on Tuesdays. So we only had weekly meetings on Tuesdays, and that was after practice time because I was able to work with my boss and let her know, hey, I practice from 3 to 6. And it gets a bit annoying, and I'll be honest, how time crunch you are. So whenever you are kind of negotiating The times you're available, you're always like, yeah, I have 3 hours that I can't be there like every single day. So that's like pretty, it can make you feel like you're not the best qualified for certain stuff, but just know that you're here to do something, and you're here to pursue your passions. And if your passion is your sport, then by all means, like, that comes first. And a lot of people will fall in line. And if they can't respect that, you probably don't want to work for them anyway, if that makes sense. And so in terms of jobs, if you're not able to find like a job that was so lenient and able to report my own hours and that kind of stuff, then I encourage you guys to get a job at like Lamont or Widener, jobs like that where you can work later on. So, or at Smith Campus Center, so you kill two birds with one stone. When you can get out of practice and your job is literally to sit there and do your work. So working at libraries, working at like desk jobs, that allows you to do all your P-sets or write your paper or do your research or whatever while you're on the clock. So that's really good. I know I had a really good friend of mine who got a job at Widener, and so I would come from after practice and just sitting there with her and just doing my work. And so she was able to do the work too while she was on the clock. So that was pretty awesome. So look out for jobs like that. And another thing I would say, just some tips and tricks of being a student athlete in general, is to take care of your body. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Make sure that you are scheduling. I would say before coming to college, I was fairly organized. Like, I had a Google Calendar. I used the daily planner that the school got me, and that was about it. I was able to like retain a lot of places, like a lot of assignments and that kind of stuff in my mind. I would say try to get out of that. Really try to like lean heavily on organization skills, on scheduling. That was imperative. When I tell you I live by my Google Calendar, I live by my Google Calendar. Feel free I'm not sure if my Instagram or anything will be linked in this, or when you guys get my email, or when I meet all of you lovely people, to hit me up and ask me about that kind of stuff. So I was really proactive as an athlete on campus because I knew that I had a lot of things to juggle. I had my academics, I had my athletics, and I also had my job on campus. And so 3 places where I was required to be. And then I also had all my assignments, and then I also had my social life, and then I also needed to eat, and I also needed to sleep. So I was quick, and I got an academic advisor. Sorry, misspoke. An academic coach. That's a different thing. So you guys are all going to be assigned academic advisors, peer advisors, that kind of stuff. But you can go to the ARC, which is the Academic Resource Center, and you can request to get an academic coach. My academic coach is Kate Penner. Love Kate Penner. I know she's introduced herself to some of you 24s already. And if you had the pleasure of meeting Kate Penner, pat yourself on the back. You want to be in contact with that woman. She is absolutely phenomenal. She got my life together. She whipped me right in shape. We really relied heavily on my Google Calendar. We relied heavily on the Pomodoro method. If you guys are familiar with the Pomodoro method, that's like 25 minutes of being productive, and then 5-minute break, and then 25 minutes of being productive, and 5-minute break. And so that kind of stuff, if you're listening to right now, you're probably like, okay, dude, like, who's doing that? And that's exactly how I felt. But you'll realize that moment when it's 2 a.m. and you had a paper that was already assigned to you maybe like 2 weeks ago, and it's due that night, and you also have a P-set to be done, and you had a bad day at practice, and dinner was terrible at Annenberg, and your friends are doing whatever they're doing, and your classes are just super confusing. You will wish that you were a lot more organized. And I'm gonna say that don't be afraid of that moment. Like, that happens to everyone, regardless of college, regardless if you were at Harvard. It happens to everybody. But I'm just saying that get ahead of that and really listen to that advice, because you're gonna hear time management like probably 1,000 times during orientation week. You're probably gonna hear it 1,000 times through FYRE itself. All I'm saying is that if you're a student athlete, you know how much time management really means. It probably should get like tattooed across your forehead. Like, I would legit write time management on my head right now if like I knew Sharpie would come off, but it won't. But yeah, so that's my biggest piece of advice, is to become organized. Time management. It's such a shallow level of advice, but it's so serious. Google Calendar is going to be your best friend. Download that thing right now and start getting used to it. Putting in different things. Put in like what time you wake up and what time you go to bed and what kind of paper you have to do, and you have to do this and you have to go to this meeting and this Zoom call, and like put the different stuff on there. Like watch this video. Like literally just get used to putting things into Google Calendar and following through with it. Also a big thing when you're scheduling and you're using your Google Calendar to dictate your life the way I do, you want to make it realistic. So I know, especially being home, I'm not waking up every day at 8 a.m. I'm not doing that. Yes, I want to do that. Yes, society tells me I should get up and be productive and start my day at 8 a.m. But that's just not realistic. I'm waking up at 10 a.m. So I'm going to make sure my schedule reflects that. So that is what I want to tell you guys. I want to say, don't stress, because you will do it. When you're doing it and you're in the motion, you have no choice but to pick it up and adapt. You'll get it done. I promise you. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here for any support that you need. I'm here to be your hype man. Keep rocking and rolling. You're awesome. You made it this far. Cannot wait to see you on campus, on Zoom campus. I don't know. Sending you great energy, good vibes, productivity and organization and scheduling powers. And go get your coin. You can do it all. You can have it all. Just know that it's going to require some work on the back end. It's going to require some structure. It's going to require some scheduling. It's going to require some, I can't go to this party until I do my PSET. It's going to require that. And you're going to do great. You're going to find that balance. I believe in you. So rock and roll. See you later. Peace out, Girl Scout.